Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guest today is Nielo Daniel Gaglione, musician from Iowa City.
Yes, exactly.
Daniel, nice to have you here.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
And,
I love this radio a lot. I listen to this radio a lot. So being here and talking with you is a huge pleasure.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, it's it's equal pleasure for us because we've enjoyed your music and your collaborations with John Rapson, and so happy that that's continuing. So we're going to talk about Mektoub, the new band, here in a minute. But for those watching the video, though, we also have kind of an in-studio audience. Angie and Elliot are here with us as well. Nice to have you both in studio, too.
Hi.
Thanks for being here. So let's start with, talk about your journey that ended up with you in Iowa City, just briefly.
Okay, so I'm from France, south of France, a little town called Port-de-Bouc, close to Marseille, on the Mediterranean Sea. I met a beautiful person in Belgium when I was playing a concert, and we married. I'm gonna go fast, but we married. She was a student in Belgium, and we had a little boy who's here, Elio, and we decided to come here in Iowa City.
Okay. And it was, how long had you been in Iowa City before you met John Rapson?
So I was in Iowa City for 1 year when I met him at George's, this bar where he was doing this famous like Friday night or Tuesday night.
Oh, yes,
like
the famous George's Jam session.
Exactly.
All the music world comes to George's.
Exactly. And it was cool because at the first meeting, just with our hands, we had a very nice conversation, and we met probably weeks after, and we started to talk music right away and share our experience. And I met him in his office. I played my mandole. He played his Rhodes. He had a Fender Rhodes in his office, and we started to play together. And it was like, boom, we have to do something together.
And this was as he was working on the project that would become Tamale Louie.
Tamale Louie, exactly, just before. And we met again after the Bread Garden, and in maybe 1 month after, and he had this beautiful idea and production of Tamale Louie, and he wanted me to be involved in the composition. And so he explained me the project, and in 1 week I composed 6 pieces. I was so inspired by the project because it was so close to what I just did in France when I released my album with my band Nayas, talking about migration and all that kind of thing. And it was so close that in 1 week, I tell you, I sent him 6 pieces, and we made the Hot Tamale Louie recital together. It was magic.
This was just the ultimate in happy coincidences that he would bump into you at the same time that he was creating this piece that needed, the French, the Afghan, the Algerian, all, that was...
My instrument is from North Africa,
right.
Algerian, and he felt that, like the link. It was an evidence.
Now, for those who aren't familiar with your instrument, describe it to us a little bit.
So, Algerian mandole, it's a 4 double-string instrument who has the shape of, it's a mix exactly, a sheikh that we call in Kabylie. Imagine this instrument. He wanted the mix between the oud and the flamenco guitar.
Okay.
So you have the almond sound like a mandolin, bigger and flat, not like the oud who's bumped behind.
Right, the oud is similar to a guitar, but has a very rounded bottom.
Exactly. I love this instrument. Mandole is. I started music as an electric bass player in a band, and when I met this instrument, I knew that it was my instrument because I could start to compose with this instrument. It was.
And the Hot Tamale Louie project, of course, just completely took on a complete life of its own, became such an enormous thing. You performed it all over Iowa at the Iowa City Jazz Festival, which is one of the most memorable performances. And then actually to Hot Tamale Louie's home in
Exactly,
Sheridan,
in
Wyoming.
Wyoming.
You took
Exactly,
it there,
exactly.
and well, at the Iowa City Jazz Festival, his sons were here,
Yep,
and
yep.
that-
Oh, well, yeah.
yeah, what an
yeah.
amazing experience that had to
Exactly.
be.
And because of John Rapson, all of that.
And then, of course, that ensemble continued, did the Esteban and the Children of the Sun,
Exactly.
literally just weeks, finished up just weeks before John's passing.
Exactly.
And that,
Here it
yes,
is.
oh, there it is. And for those watching the video can see that Daniel's wearing the T-shirt. And that, I can't hardly even imagine what that experience was like, doing those final composition and then the recording, knowing that this was, this John was putting the last of his
Wow.
spirit into this.
Yes, and it was amazing, beautiful, and difficult, and yeah, and I think it's in the CD, and it's in this CD too, the Mektoub one, because we recorded Mektoub after Esteban and the Children of the Sun. Everything was set up, the sound. We just sat on. John Rapson got his piano, and we played live, and we recorded the
So
album.
this is truly John's last project, the Mektoub.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's called Elizabeth.
Yep.
For John's wife.
Exactly.
Yep.
For the muse of John, for his girl, as he's used to say, my girl. And we thought, like, each of the band thought that it would be a good idea to call and dedicate this album to her, a beautiful person that we love a lot.
And who was right there with you, in
All
every
the time.
moment
Exactly.
of the recording of these projects.
2 months ago, we rehearsed at her house. She wanted that. That was an amazing moment again. She asked us to record this album. She asked John and say, "I want you to record the Mektoub, please. Daniel asked you many times, you couldn't, but now I would like that you do it, please." And Ryan Smith also, and he said, "Let's do it." He gave us a lot. It's the last moment he played piano. Gave us a lot.
You have a couple of performances coming up you're going to be the kind of the second band at the James Theater, Junith James,
Yes.
their grand opening,
Yes.
and that's
Yes.
coming up the 16th, yes?
Yes, exactly. The 16th of June. Door will open at 6. We'll play at 7 for 1 hour and 15 minutes. It's a beautiful place. I was looking for a special place because it's a special album for a special person, and we were about to play at the Goostown Cafe because our Goostown Cafe is our home, has been our first home, playing there with John and I just as a duo. And but I was looking for something different. I wanted really an audience fixing on the moment and proposing a special decor, proposing a special light show. It's going to be a very special
concert
moment.
experience, more of a concert experience.
A really concert experience, but even like working a lot on everything.
Talk to me a little bit about the compositions on the album. Obviously, this was all put together before John passed, and your compositions with him were very much a collaboration.
Yeah.
With him and with the other musicians.
Yes.
How does the material on the Mektoub album differ?
Well, it's my composition, orchestrated, arranged by John Rapson, Ryan Smith. So it's coming from all my feeling about music. So I'm inspired by reggae music. I'm inspired by North Africa traditional music. I'm inspired by rebetiko in Greece. I'm inspired by North Africa again, but like really rhyme music. I'm inspired by rock and roll. So everything is in this album. This kind of melting pot of my feeling and love for music. And John Rapson or Ryan Smith, who are collaborating very close to me, with me, were very involved. They wanted to put their jazz touch in my composition, and I think that maybe that makes this album a little bit special. It's my thought.
You mentioned Ryan Smith, of course, graduate out of the University of Iowa program, longtime collaborator with John and so many musicians on the reeds. And then for those who maybe didn't see Tamale Louie or any of those, who else is on the ensemble? Because it's full of familiar names to all of us.
Tara McGovern on fiddle. Like you said, played Tamale Louie, Esteban and The Children of the Sun, Mektoub. We have a duo, just her and I, called Kerak, with other composition. We have Drew Morton on electric bass, who's taking the space with us.
Oh, so he's probably is he doing some things with lights and graphics?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and he's also like he has a touch of electric bass player that is very very special. And John Rapson mentioned his name when I asked him if I wasn't sure I will continue the experience of Mektoub when we lost John Rapson, because for me it was so important that we were working as a partner, like a pair, like. And he told me, no, I want you to continue, please. And he gave me the name of Drew Morton because he thought that the bass would be a good idea, and his way to play on electric bass could be very interesting in the project. And I didn't know Drew Morton, and he was so right again, always right, always right.
Yeah, so much talent there.
Yeah.
And so Tara, you and Ryan and Drew, is that the ensemble?
And Justin LeDuc.
Oh, Justin drums.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh
and
my
Justin
gosh.
on the drums.
Yes,
yeah, also
yes.
such a big part of the Tamale Louie and the Esteban project.
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly. And I'd like to mention John and Virginia Stemler, who are supporting my work, producing this album with me. They're supporting my art totally. They make me in this position a place that I can concentrate, I can create. In their space, I created 3 albums and 2 compositions, Tamale Louie and Esteban and The Children of the Sun. Yeah.
And so then just the group of you, I guess the hardest question I got to ask in this interview is, will there be keyboards?
No.
Yeah.
Drew Morton will be taking place for John Rapson, I'm gonna say.
Oh, okay. Okay.
On bass, we won't have a keyboard or piano. It can happen. Mektoub is an open band.
Sure.
We are like it happened like that. I started solo. John joined me like after one concert. He joined me to do it to both. After Ryan Smith came. And Tara and Justin, and Tara, and now Drew, and it's an open band.
So maybe someday, but also very right this time that the keyboard chair is occupied by the spirit of John at this concert.
It's too difficult for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. And I talked with Elizabeth too, and she was like, okay, I understand, no problem. Because she asked me the same question as you just asked me, like, who's going to play keyboard?
Right.
And I explained that John was thinking for a bass player, and I respected that. And I'm so happy that he mentioned that because it's a good idea. The piano will come again, maybe sometimes. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just love the music on this album, and you talked about about all the influence, and I also love kind of your little tagline that you've created, Mediterranean folk jazz.
Exactly.
Which is exactly what it is. I mean, it's
so happy.
It's jazz, but it's also got so many of these other influences that we don't hear every day.
Yeah.
It's a great project, which is no surprise based on what we've heard from you and the other members of the ensemble from the past work too.
Thank you so much.
So June 16th, the James Theater.
Yep.
And then you've got a Friday night concert series show coming up too, right?
The week after, the 24th. Yeah.
Okay.
Friday night, the Padmore. I'd like to mention that I sing in this album and on the show, and people can travel with me because I'm going to sing in Italian, I'm going to sing in French, I'm going to sing in Occitan, a dialect from Old French dialect. I'm going to sing in Spanish, so yeah, we're going to travel together.
Great. And we're going to travel the whole world from the James Theater.
I would love that.
I know there's so much, but what's the one thing that John Rapson taught you or that you take away from your friendship and collaboration with him?
The simplicity of loving what you are doing. Playing music together has been. There's a new song that I composed and it's gonna happen on the show. That it's not in the album. There's 3 new songs actually. One is called Evidence. In Evidence, it was an evidence that we were soulmate. I don't know. Can I say soulmate?
Sure,
Or,
sure.
like we were. Like he told me, he said, when I met you for the first time, I was smelling you. He told me exactly that. We are animals, you know. And when I smelled you, I smelled, I had a very good feeling, and it never stopped. Like he taught me how to love, like really how to love so simply. And I think that love is the essence of the the remedy for this world. We need more love. And person as John was just like even in the hot Tamale Louie, no, Esteban and The Children of the Sun, when we're talking about healing, you know, the cabeza de vaca and stuff, and in their journey and stuff. John was a he could he could heal you so easily with his eyes, his smile, his hand, his touch, his word, his heart, and he taught me that I mean, he taught me that you can be like that. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's clear.
Yeah. Well, you know, John, you know, he wore his heart on his sleeve. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, when you were, you know, when you talked to John, you had his full attention.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
and when
Exactly.
you know were in a friend relationship with him,
Yeah.
he was all in.
Yes, and generous, so generous. He opened me his door of everything, his family, his music, his way to create. We created together a podcast for meditation, and it was what a an amazing moment to see how he was creating. It was so beautiful. I learned so much how create that, and he gave me the next composition for another meditation. He said, "You do it by yourself now." And I did it by myself. You know what I mean? He gave me so much, so much, so much. I didn't know that I was able to compose all I composed before I met him.
There's just a hole in all of our lives in our musical community that John left that will never be filled. But
Oh yeah,
but the greatest gift that he gives us is that the music continues.
exactly.
And I'm so glad that this ensemble and that your work has continued and grown beyond
Yeah.
this. Very excited for the show at the James and at the Friday Night Concert Series. And if people want to, I'm sure you'll have CDs and
Yeah.
music available at the shows. But is
Exactly.
there a place online where people can go find out more information, order music?
We have Facebook, we have an Instagram named Mektoub. We're gonna have a Bandcamp open to find the album if you want it as digital and not as a CD, you know. And I decided to make it happen just on Bandcamp because I don't want to go in the craziness of iTunes and blah blah blah, blah all these things.
Okay,
I want
sure.
I want to have something more personal, kind of. We decide exactly what we put, what price, free or not, or you know, and people can have an access and decide on what they're gonna do. Put $1, put 10, put 20, put nothing, and have the album still, but not being in the big industry of we don't have our end free again. You know what I mean?
Maintaining your own control over
Exactly.
it. Yeah, that's
And
great.
it's a small because it's a small project, and I want to keep that small and very intimate.
Daniel Gaglione. And Mektoub will be performing, as I said, at the James Theater in Iowa City, and thejamesic.com is the website. Got to
Cool.
learn that for this brand new venue. And then the Friday after that at the Friday Night Concert Series in Iowa City. So a couple of chances to hear the band, and
Yeah.
very excited to hear this music live, Daniel, and I just wish for many more.
Can I just add something?
Yes.
I would like to say thank you so much on how the James welcomed us and decided to be part of this project and help us to produce this beautiful night.
Yeah, and very exciting to be a part of their grand opening. So it's going to
Exactly.
be a great venue for the area.
Yes.
Daniel, thanks so much for
Thank
being
you so
with us
much.
today.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio many weekdays at 10:20, or download the podcast, watch or listen on your own schedule at kcck.org/culture, or however you get your podcasts. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.